Hello everyone and welcome back to my opinion. And this video will be me reviewing the two World Cup games that took place today and previewing the game tomorrow between India and Australia. On the first game regarding this venue, it's a venue that provides assistance for seam bowlers, and looking at recent results, the team that bowls first wins the game the majority of the time. And two things that went well for Bangladesh is that Shakib Al Hasan, winning the toss, chose to bowl first, and secondly, if you look at this Bangladesh top six, they've got a luxury that no other side in this competition has got, and that is that two players who can bat in the top six can bowl 10 overs each, those players being Shakib Al Hasan and Mehdi Hasan Miraz. And therefore, they could play the three frontline seamers in Taskin Ahmed, Shariful Islam and Mustafizur Rahman. And since you've got the bowlers you need, they went with the extra batsman and Tawhid Hridoy to bolster their batting. And the reason why they could do that is because you've got Shakib Al Hasan and Mehdi Hasan Miraz in the top six to bowl 10 overs each, which is the luxury that no one else has. And on Afghanistan, in my preview, I'd said that they should go with playing Noor Ahmed and playing two seamers in Fazalak Farooqi and Azmatullah Omarzak. Now, the reason why they didn't do that today is because of the assistance for the seamers. They rightly played Naveen ul Haq ahead of Noor Ahmed, which was the correct decision. And the side that won the toss and chose to bowl first would be having the advantage in the game, like I said at the start of this segment. Afghanistan got off to the best possible start they could have realistically got off to, with both openers looking good. Taskin Ahmed and Shariful Islam, I thought, couldn't quite apply the pressure they wanted to apply with a new ball, with Shariful Islam going for 34 runs in the first 5 overs that he bowled. And Rahmanullah Gurbaz had said in the video where I was previewing Afghanistan's campaign, if a somewhat responsible version of him turned up for this tournament, it would bode well for Afghanistan. And we saw that version today. And 47 without loss, considering they're batting first at this venue against a very good Bangladesh pace attack. It was the best possible start they could have got off to. Unfortunately, at this point, Ibrahim Zadran tried to take on Shakib Al Hasan and hold out a deep square leg. And with the first 3 wickets that fell in this innings, Afghanistan were under threat of jeopardizing the good position that they were at. It didn't happen with the first 2 wickets to fall, but it happened after the 3rd wicket fell. And after being 47 for 1, Afghanistan still didn't collapse. They went to 83 for 1 in 15 overs, which when batting first at this venue is a very good run rate. There was no need for Rahmat Shah to try and play that shot off the bowling of Shakib Al Hasan again. And what Shakib did well in this case was that, so in the first dismissal, the ball was fuller and slightly wider outside off stump. In this case, the ball was bowled at a slightly shorter length. He dragged the length back a bit and gave the ball some air. And it was a case where Rahmat Shah had to reach for the delivery when playing the shot, and the ball was skied. So a good bit of bowling from him there. And after this point, there were 29 runs scored in the next 10 overs or so. Now, yes, the scoring rate did slow down, but I've said this before. I said this when I was previewing Afghanistan's campaign. Rahmat Shah, number 3, strikes at 73 this year. Hashmatullah Shahidi strike at 76 this year. And the latter's overall career strike rate in ODIs is 67. And I'd said in that video that the optimum strike rate these players would look to go at is about 80, and they've got 2 roles. One is, of course, to score runs and set things up for the others to come, and 2, bat until the 35th over. Make sure the 3rd wicket does not fall until the 35th over of the innings, because then you've got the finishers to get quick runs at the end and get Afghanistan to at least a 250 or total where they've got the spinners to defend that score. And in this case, yes, the scoring rate had slowed down, but you've got to think, if you're Hashmatullah Shahidi, that if I try and take on the bowling now and get out, it's 112 for 3 in 24 overs, where I'd said Mohammad Nabi should only walk out from the 35th over onwards. Now, what did you see that happened after the 3rd wicket fell? Afghanistan lost, I think, 7 wickets for 44 runs. And this may sound blasphemous considering the rhetoric that's going on now in the last few years, where if someone says, oh, it's okay, you can score at 4 and over in the middle phase for a cluster of 10 overs, then it's a case where that can't be done. And I don't understand that at all. You've got to look at the team you're saying this for and with the blueprint they're best suited to going for. And what I'm trying to say here is that if they scored at 4 and over from the net for the next 10 overs and got to maybe 154 for 2 or 3 in 35 overs, then you've got 7 or 8 wickets left. Can you back Mohammad Nabi, Rashid Khan and co to score 96 runs in the next 15 overs with 7 wickets left and 15 overs to go? Yes, you can. And even if they don't, okay, it's the fact that would you rather be bowled out for 200 and let the game go for a while longer than he bowled out for 156 and give that score 15 overs to spare and take a hit on your net run rate from the first game? So I didn't understand that at all. I think, yes, he was bogged down a bit, but we've got to understand that his career strike rate has been 67. The optimal strike rate that him and Rahmat Shah would be looking to strike at realistically is around that 80 mark. So I didn't think him being 18 of 37 was the end of the world, and in the end he played that shot, and that wicket was the one that set things off for Afghanistan in terms of the collapse, because they had salvaged their position back from the other 2 wickets being lost, but this meant that Mohammad Nabi was in 10 overs earlier than he should have been, and you saw what happened. And from the Bangladeshi bowlers, especially on a ground where the spinners have taken wickets when the fast bowlers have done the damage, and in this case the spinners was the one that did the damage, and you've got Shakib taking 3 for 13 8 and Mehdi Hasan Miraz 3 for 25 and 9. They slowed the scoring rate from 83 for 1 and 15, and really they were the reason why Afghanistan collapsed from 83 to 156. So they took advantage of the fact that the batsmen were getting bogged down and they were going to try something eventually. And even when they weren't getting bogged down, both Ibrahim Zadran and Rahmat Shah played unnecessary shots, so took unnecessary options. So very well done from Shakib Al Hasan and Mehdi Hasan Miraz. Like I said, because you've got both those two that can bowl 10 overs and can bat in the top 6, Bangladesh could strengthen their batting for this game and play the other 3 seamers. So yeah, a very good comeback from Bangladesh, and it certainly did look like they were going to chase this downwards. And now on Bangladesh, after losing both openers early, Mehdi Hasan Miraz and Najmul Hossain Shanto scored measured 50s and put on a partnership of almost 100. And by the time the 3rd wicket fell, the game was over. On Mehdi Hasan Miraz, he scored a 50 today, batting at 3. I think in one of the warm-up games against England, he scored a 74. And in the second game of the Asia Cup campaign against Afghanistan, he scored a century and a match-changing century against India, batting at 7 a few months ago. His batting has come a long way in the last 2 years. And in this format, in this part of the world, it really is a fantastic option. Number 4, someone who's been doing very well this year, mostly batting at number 3, Najmul Hossain Shanto, another measured 50 here to take his side over the line. And on Mehdi Hasan Miraz, I still think him batting at number 3 is a bit of a gamble, especially if you're coming against him. This is a few games in this tournament for them. Against England on Tuesday in Dharamshala, and if England play Reece Topley, David William, Mark Wood as their seamers, then if Bangladesh have to bat first, it will still be a tough ask. You've got India and Australia in Pune, where you saw in the IPL, where if you hit a length and the ball moves around early on, and you've got seamers for India and Australia that can exploit those conditions. So if you've got Mehdi Hasan Miraz at 3, how would it go there? You don't know. And against South Africa in Mumbai. So you've got tough fixtures there. And I don't understand Shakib Al Hasan batting at 5. In 2019, he batted 3 and his lowest score was 41. And since, really, I think you've got a case where, looking at the top 4 that we saw today, you've got 3 inexperienced players in terms of Mehdi Hasan Miraz batting the top orders, fairly inexperienced even though he's done it a few times. Tanzid Hassan and Najmul Hossain Shanto are good young players with inexperience, and you've got Litan Das who isn't getting runs. So if you've got that top 4, that may be one of the weakest top 4s in the competition on paper. And even if Mehdi Hasan is getting runs at 3, you've still got a lot of inexperience there in the top 4 outside of Litan Das who isn't getting runs. And like I said, against Australia and India at Pune, for example, they may struggle. So I don't understand Shakib Al Hasan batting at 5. Rather than averting the crisis batting in the top 4, he's batting at 5, which I don't understand. And That's why I'm saying it's got to. And you may think, right, why am I saying this if I've just said what I've said? But first of all, Shakib Al Hasan should bat at 4. But second of all, for now, I may even say Mehdi Hasan Miraj should open the batting. Now, why am I saying that? Because of the way Litan Das bats, you'll get about, in 9 group stage games, you may get about 3 decent contributions. And like I said, when you've got 4 games there that won't be easy, if he gets out early in those 4 games, it just puts more pressure on the others. So what I would do is Tanjid Hassan, Mehdi Hasan Miraj opening the batting with Najmul Hossain Shanto at number 3, Shakib Al Hasan at 4, and Mushfiqur Rahim at 6 isn't ideal. You'd want him batting the top 5 at least, but I think they will bat him at 6 in the side. If they don't play Mahmudullah Riyad at 6, they may play Mahmudullah Riyad at 7. And at number 5, I've gone for Litan Das for now, because I think since he likes to attack the bowling from the get-go, if a foundation is set and he walks out to bat at 5, where is Mushfiqur Rahim the ideal finisher at 6? No, he isn't. We don't know what Mahmudullah Riyad will do. In that case, Litan Das at 5 that can take on the bowling, I think that would be a good option there. It's a case where I said Mitchell Marsh should bat at 5 for Australia with Alex Carey opening the batting. I'll say a similar thing there where an attacking Litan Das should bat at 5 and Mehdi Hasan Miraj to open the batting. So, in the absence of Tamim Iqbal, they haven't got this proven opening batsman, and that is a loss for them. But I think with what they've got, you've got to back a measured Mehdi Hasan Miraj to do the job at the top of the order, and Litan Das at 5. If this move doesn't go well, I'd bring in Tawhid Hridoy for Litan Das. So that's the only option they've got. The bowling looks good, and like I said, because they've got 2 10-over banks in Shakib Al Hasan and Mehdi Hasan Miraj batting in the top 6. You could play 3 seamers, and at times at 7 look to strengthen your batting with Mahmudullah Riyad or Tawhid Hridoy at 7. Or in this case, you had Tawhid Hridoy at 7 and Mahmudullah Riyad at 8. So you can't do that. So this is all I have to say on Bangladesh for this game. The bowling was very good, but with the batting, I think against a more reputed side in conditions where the fast bowlers have a lot of purchase, they may struggle. So very good win for them here, but they've got a bit of way to go in the batting, I think, to really fortify their batting in the coming games. And now in the second game, a 102-run win for South Africa, and a margin of defeat for Sri Lanka that flattered them. Apart from the delivery that Dilshan Madushanka bowled to Bavuma early on in South Africa's first innings and the few overs after that, you thought Sri Lanka were never in this game at any point, and from the start, I don't know why Dasun Shanaka won the toss and chose to field first, even though the last few results at this venue have been skewed towards the side batting first. Another thing, like I said in my preview video, if you've not got Mahesh Deekshana available, you've got Dunit Belalage, Dhananjay De Silva and Charita Solanka, where yes, there was some turn on offer on the surface, but it wasn't like bowling on a Colombo track, and you saw the South African batsmen played them with ease. And really, it's a case where after 25 overs, it's meant to get tougher to bat in Delhi. And in this case, the scoring rate only increased. So an atypical innings, what we saw from South Africa to what you get in the surface. So things went so bad for Sri Lanka that they conceded that many runs. And 3 fantastic centuries from Quinton de Kock, Rassi van der Dussen, who I'd said averaged 31 this year, but is still a fantastic player. He showed that today. And Aiden Markham, a century at almost a 200 strike rate, where I think it's the quickest century, or fastest century in World Cups, or at least by a South African. And it's a case where until he went from 70 to 76, he didn't hit a 6. So he still managed to go at then a strike rate of above 160, and by the end of his innings, a strike rate of almost 200. So a fantastic innings. And for Sri Lanka, like I said, apart from Matisha Patirana, you've got other seamers in the squad who are proficient at bowling with a new ball. And it's a case where if you've got the inexperienced Matisha Patirana, who's blown hot and cold in his ODI career thus far, mostly cold, then you've got a case where he went for runs today. Kaushal Rajitha also goes for 90 in his 10. Dilshan Madushanka 86 in his 10. There is no one to bowl to death. In the middle lows, Ratik, you've not got anyone either, and you've only got a new ball that's going well for you, or more likely to go well for you. So This attack for Sri Lanka, if Deekshana doesn't return, they will struggle. The most economical bowler on the day for them was Dasun Shanaka, but only bowled 6 overs. And with the bat, it's 326, yes, but they were never really in it at all. A fantastic knock from Kusal Mendis, yes. The South African team has bowled on the leg side a lot, but I thought some of the shots, one of the sixes off Lungi and Giri and 1-6 off Marco Jansen of a fine leg, they were difficult shots to play. It was a fantastic innings to watch. And a very good 79 from Jayata Salanka. Even Sadira Samaravikram was 19. He played some shots off the spinners that were great to watch. And Dasun Shanaka finally getting runs this time, 68 of 62, and a confidence booster for him. And it's a case where, yes, they got to 326, but South Africa could have declared 100 runs earlier, and Sri Lanka would not have got to 326. I thought when they were 98 for 2, they would be bowled out for about 260. Luckily for them, Dasun Shanaka got the 68 that he got, and Kasun Rajita got 33 at the end to take them to 326. So this was a completely one-sided affair. And on South Africa, though, I still think Marco Jansen at number 7, it's quite precarious. Yes, they're top 6, especially when the conditions are good for batting. They are quite good, but I think Marco Jansen at number 7 is still quite precarious, and I don't think they will qualify as yet. The next game they're playing against Australia and Lucknow, where it will be a contrasting game to what we saw here, and I've got Australia to win that game. So yes, a very good win for South Africa, but I don't think they will qualify yet. And on Sri Lanka, they'll need Deekshana to return, and again, I don't know why they chose to play Kusal Perera ahead of Dimuth Karunaratne. Conceding 429 is a different issue, but like I said, Kusal Perera, you saw today, tried to go after the bowling from the get-go, struggled to do so, was dismissed. And I just think him providing the sturdiness that Dimuth Karunaratne provides, it just, you cannot equate to what the latter provides at this point in time. So I don't know how many opportunities they'll give Kusal Perera, but they've got to play Karunaratne and to open the batting. Otherwise, you've got a case where will Pereira do anything against India and the Wankhede Stadium? I don't think he will. So I think that is one change they'll have to make. And also Mahesh Deekshana returning will improve things. So that's the thing. That's what I've got to say on this game. And now me previewing the India-Australia clash. And now previewing the India versus Australia game. But first things first. Shubman Gill potentially missing this fixture after contracting dengue is a huge blow. It's kind of a disease that drains you for a few days, and that's why I don't think he'll be available to play against Pakistan. And for someone that's averaged 72 years running, this year scored just over 1,200 runs in this format alone. With him not opening the batting in the side, it makes India a slightly weaker batting unit, but I think it's quite an unfortunate thing that he may not be available to play this game. And with the nature of the disease, may not be available to play at least 2 games after this. So I hope he gets well soon, and Ishan Kishan will take his place in the side. And in terms of the role that Ishan Kishan should play, I've got him batting at number 5 with KL Rahul opening the batting. Now the reason why I've got Ishan Kishan batting at 5 as opposed to opening is that with Mitchell Starc and Pat Cummins going at full tilt, it's a case where Pat Cummins has got a delivery that seems away from the left-hander. And Ishan Kishan has had his problems around the off-stump while opening the batting. He tends to get bogged down, and when he gets bogged down, look to hit out and get even more bogged down. We've seen in T20 cricket where at times he could cloth the ball to a catching mid-wicket after he hasn't got the runs that he has wanted to get. And to avoid that situation, I've gone at KL Rahul to open the batting and Ishan Kishan to bat at 5. Since Adam Zampa will bowl in the middle overs, Ishan Kishan as the left-handed, as the aggressive left-handed, could be used to counter that threat. And having conventional players to open the batting in this part of the world is not a bad thing at all. Like I said, the key to success in ODIs in this part of the world is for the top 4 to set the foundation. There's been some debate around KL Rahul where he's been so good at 4 and 5 for India as to is he conservative when he opens the batting, but I don't follow that latter question at all, simply because when you're facing Mitchell Starc and Pat Cummins early on, when they're going full tilt, you've got to be conservative, and I'd rather India be 38 to 42 without loss after 10 overs than 36 to 38 for 1 after 10 with Ishan Kishan potentially being dismissed. So I'm utilizing Ishan Kishan's strengths by batting him at 5 and making sure early wickets don't fall by putting the secure KL Rahul to open the batting. And as far as playing spin goes, if you've got Rohit Sharma who plays off spin especially very well, KL Rahul all types of spin well, and Shreyas Iyer who may be the best player of spin in the world, and you've got those three in the same team, that bodes well for you there. And like I said, if India win the toss, they should look to bat first. And it's a case where if they get that 270, 275 score with the quality spinners they've got, Bumrah and Siraj opening the bowling, and an enforcer and Hardik Pandya, then I think it will be very tough for Australia to get these runs. Even if India have to bowl first with Australia winning the toss, I think it will be a good toss to win for Australia if they choose to bat. However, Australia will have to bat very well to get 270 to 275 against this Indian attack. And the one place where India's attack may be a bit vulnerable is if Australia somehow managed to get to the 40th over with some kind of foundation intact and wickets in hand. Then you've got Mohammad Siraj and Hardik Pandya to bowl the death alongside Jasid Burma. Now Mohammad Siraj, we're backing him to bowl the death because the form he's been in with a new ball. So we don't exactly know how he'll go to death. He's been expensive when he's bowled the death most of the time. And Hardik Pandya's touch and go to death. At times he may bowl, at times he may not. So I think then there'll be a lot of pressure on Bumrah to deliver at that stage. And you've got really quality spinners. Maybe you've got Kuldeep Yadav to bowl at the death when necessary if you've got overs left or one of those three. But I think at that point in time, Australia will be looking to capitalise and get a few runs. If you've got Hardik Pandya and Mohammad Siraj, you don't have a good day bowling at the death. Apart from that, there's no glaring weakness for India there, you'd think. I'd like to see how Virat Kohli goes on the surface. His how he plays spin in the last few years hasn't been as great as what it was before. And if he faces someone like an Adam Zampa or a Glenn Maxwell on the surface, we'll have to see how he goes. If he goes well at 3, I think you've got the other players sorted there with Ishan Kishan at 5 and KL Rahul to open the batting. And from an Australian point of view, this side batting first and bowling first is a completely different proposition. They have to win the toss and bat first. And if they bat first, I think it sets them on the best course from their point of view to win the game. You saw them getting 260 odd the last 7. India couldn't chase that down at the end. This is a different Indian side to what it was then. So Australia will have a greater challenge in facing 3 quality spinners at this venue. And how they should use their bowlers is Mitchell Starc and Pat Cummins to open the bowling, with Josh Hazlewood being the middle overs enforcer, Adam Zampa being the attacking threat in the middle overs, along with Glenn Maxwell to also kind of be the defensive bowler that can still extract turn on the surface. And at the death, I've gone as Mitchell Starc and Pat Cummins to bowl the death, and Adam Zampa can bowl a few overs. So that's how Australia should go for things. And in terms of favourites to win this game, I've still got India to win this game even without Shubman Gill. I just think whether India bowl first or bat first, they can win the game. They're more likely to win the game even if they had to chase 275. You'd back India over Australia to chase that score, because if Australia have to chase a score, whatever surface it's on, they're a completely different side batting first and chasing. So I think Australia winning the toss and batting first is vital for their chances. They go for Mitchell Marsh opening the batting anyway, and they may go for that again, considering what they may do is he scored 47 in the previous time when they played against Chennai, in Chennai, and the other players scoring some 20s and 30s got them to that 260 odd. So what they may do is Alex Carey at 5 to play the spin. If you've got Steve Smith, Labuschagne and Carey 3, 4 and 5. And you've got Mitchell Marsh to potentially get some quick runs against the seamers, but it will be a difficult task with the form that Siraj and Bumrah are in. So let's see how this game goes, but I still think India with their bowling attack and a batting line that may be more short against spin, plus a side that can compete better whether they bowl first or bat first. I've gone for India to win this game, but let's see how this game goes. If you enjoyed the video, please like and subscribe. Share it with your friends. Remember, this is my opinion. What's yours?